Hello, my name is Jacob Jones, and the movement that I'll be talking about that um, really draws me in is realism. Um, Realism depicts ordinary existence without idealism, exoticism, or nostalgia. So it's just face value. It's nothing more than what the image is, and it just shows um, just everyday life. Um, the movement of realism came with the belief that art should deal with human experience and observation. So that's really just kind of watching them and just displaying them in their own natural habitat. So at home, workplace, or with their families, just kind of that type of a setting. Um, it just portrayed the dignity of ordinary things in common life. One picture or one piece of work that's in the book is The Banjo Lesson by Henry Osawa Tanner, and that was made in 1893. Um, this painting was produced 24 years after the abolition of slavery, and this is it right here. In the picture, you can see a grandfather teaching his grandson how to play the banjo, and uh, what this painting was supposed to produce was a story relating back to slavery and how the grandfather was like the old generation of African Americans and the grandson was the new one. Because you can see how the lighting is kind of focusing on the grandson. Um, the realism in that is just showing the emotion of the time period. Like I said, it was 24 years after the abolition of slavery, so that's still a really edgy topic. Um, and for this to be made by an African American artist, it was really big, and it really displays the true colors and beliefs of realism. Um, as for the movement that really kind of pushed me away and rejected me was Cubism. Um, I know Picasso was one of the greatest artists of all time, um, but he was the one who created Cubism. It emphasized pictorial composition over personal expression. So it really used like abstract shapes. It never really used realistic looking things and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of just a jumbled mess, in my opinion. Um, the one painting that I want to talk about is the Young Ladies of Avignon. And that is this right here. That was a painting by Picasso. It's consisted of angular shapes and all that kind of stuff, and just it challenges the view from those looking at it. You look at it, and just there's so much going on. It's so complex and so intense that it's really difficult to understand, and that kind of goes across all different types of cubism types of artwork, and that's one reason that I never really liked it. Um, so, with that being said, I am a bigger fan of realism because, like I said, it shows the regular person in their own habitat. It displays their own emotion, and for me, that shows a sense of connection, how we can actually relate to these um, characters in these pictures. Because back then, prior to realism, it was more painting was circulated around godlike characters like David, how they had this identity that they wanted everybody to follow, and how they didn't really portray the actual person. It was just the thought that what they should look like and who they should be. And that's just the opposite of realism. Realism is just face value. You do you, and that's how it's going to get displayed. Um, and Cubism is just something that I've never really enjoyed. It was just so hard for me to understand. And for me, I'm not extremely artistic, and I never really grew a proper appreciation for Cubism. And although I do respect Picasso and all of his work, I just never really enjoyed it, and never really enjoyed those who followed him either. Yeah, Cubism is just not my favorite. Thanks for listening. Y'all have a great one.